So to take it in a different direction, I know that you brought up the COVID-19 pandemic and how it has brought on like some new challenges for us and a new way of doing things. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you see media literacy, digital use of computers, tablets, phones, all these different learning technology supports that exist. How do you see that playing into maybe a support for how parents can support their child in the education system?
So media literacy is incredibly important now, especially as we come out of this pandemic. A lot of things will remain online because a lot of us have learned how to adjust to them. I think it's going to be very important for parents to learn how to navigate some of the main kind of online systems that their children are using for the mere reason of being able to advocate for their child and being able to keep tabs on what is happening at school. So a lot of teachers they'll send emails back and forth. They'll send Google forms for parents to fill out. And when parents are not filling that out, it again makes them out to be kind of disengaged or not wanting communication with the teacher. And we don't want our families to come off that way, right? We want them to come off as engaged, which most of them are, right? So the main piece there would be just making sure that you understand the systems, you understand how to fill out a Google form, you understand how to respond to an email so that you're not coming off as disengaged or as not wanting to communicate with administration or with teachers. On top of that, to support your child, it will be really good to understand the systems that they use so that if there are any issues with it or if there's any missing work, or even if teachers make claims that there's missing work, but your child is telling you, oh no, I actually handed it in, which tends to happen a lot, you can actually go in yourself and figure out for yourself whether or not that work has been completed, and just figure out more about what's going on in your child's kind of day-to-day. Again, our children are away from us for most of the day. The only way that we can kind of be in touch with what they are doing at school, what assignments they have, what their grades are to have that media literacy. On top of that, one thing that I've noticed a lot with families is that students will not be performing well for the majority of the year, and then it'll come as a surprise at the end. Yeah. And then that causes a huge issue in the home, but also a huge issue with teachers, right? Because it's kind of like, why didn't you tell me earlier? And teachers will say, oh, well, his or her mark is actually on, the Google Doc or the Google Classroom. And if you don't know how to use that Google Classroom, then you're not going to know that your child is not performing well academically until it's too late, unfortunately.
Definitely. So I think that is a perfect note to sort of end on, is just having that like relationship between the parent and the child becomes so important, particularly in the context of education. I really want to thank you for taking the time, Sabrina, for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, and approaching this conversation really with a sense of empathy for the families and for the stories that we're talking about. I know it shows. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And take very good care.
Thank you.